Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Delightful Creations. I'm Amber, and today we're doing our first video for our junk journal or mini album or whatever we're going to call it, and I wanted to show you what I did. I took some of those balances and ribbon that I got last week at the thrift shop and I coffee dyed them. I just stuck them in the coffee for a couple of minutes, I squeezed it out, and then I just let it sit. And so you can see that it's not stark white anymore, it is brown and kind of dingy looking. And I did that with all these different fabrics here, and I really like the way that it looks. It's not, you know, brand new looking. I don't want stuff in this particular journal to look like it's brand new. I want it to look old and aged and maybe like from, you know, a great grandma or something like that. And so I did all of that with these curtains. I just cut them up, I stuck them in the coffee, let it soak, squeezed it really good. Well, not really good, but squeezed it pretty decent where it wasn't just drippy, and then I just let it sit in a glass bowl. So we'll have those to play with. And then I went ahead and I tried my hand at coffee dyeing regular copy paper, just printer paper. This here is 20 pound, and I really like how it turned out. Some of them are a lot lighter than others. And how I got these drips and splashes on there is what I did is I would take a plain page and set it outside of my bowl, and then I would pick it up out of the water, or coffee I mean, and then let it just drip onto the page, and then just let it dry just like that. Some of them I did just kind of leave. This one I actually crinkled before I put in there just to get a little bit different effect of wrinkly. And then there's some color on that one and some color on that one. And so yeah, I got a whole bunch of different pages. I think I ended up with maybe 20 to 25 pages. I know that's a lot. You don't really need that many, but I do plan on making quite a few of these. And so I had the time, so I went ahead and did that. And I really like how that turned out. And then I tried my hand at using the thicker cardstock. This here was like a off-white, maybe almost like a light gray, and it didn't really work that well. It doesn't look like it's too dyed or too stained, and I don't like it, so I just wanted to try. This was actually like 65 pound cardstock white, and it doesn't look that great either. It just looks like kind of dirty, like maybe it got lost outside in the wind and traveled through some dirt and mud, but I don't really care for that look, so I probably won't use those pages. So I had this great idea. I'm like, hey, let's try brown craft paper. So I stuck these two in there, and I let them sit for a while, and I pulled them out, and that's what it looked like. There's absolutely really no difference besides the fact that it's wrinkly. This is the original, and this is the one that I coffee dyed. So I'll end up using them. I just wanted to see if it would change it or stain it in any way, and it didn't. So I just thought I would play around. And then I had this great idea as my little guy was sitting in his high chair while I was doing some of these, and he was eating blueberries, and his hands were covered with the juice, and I just took some of the coffee dyed papers, and I just went ahead and stuck them under his hands, and he just made the mess on there, lots of blues and purples. And then I took the juice that was left over in his bowl, and I just drizzled it down onto there. And so I think that'll be a really neat way to remember him being little and eating blueberries, and I just think it's really cute. So this one here was actually the same 65 pound cardstock. It's pretty thick, but this is cream, and I left this in the coffee, and it actually worked. So I think what I'm going to do is make more of these cream pages, because I really like how it's a lot more durable of a page versus the coffee paper is not very thick, and I really like my stuff to be like substantial, especially if I'm going to be writing on it. I feel like maybe that might tear, but you know, maybe not. And so there's those. I went ahead and I also did a few of my book pages, and you can't really tell that they're not like super stark white because I didn't leave them in there as long. I didn't want all of my pages to come out being the same shade of brown or light light stains. So these ones are just really, really light. This I took out right away, and this one I left in there, so you can see the difference. But again, they're not white. And then here's another one, just so I have some different pages of interest in my book. I also threw in some doilies. Like, I went gung-ho, you guys. I just threw in whatever I thought was going to be cool to look at and put in this journal. I made some little doilies, some bigger ones. I've got some heart ones. I was just going at it. I was so excited to just get everything done and ready for this project. So there's all my doilies. And then my favorite, I made music paper. And this one here on the bottom says Ode to Joy by Beethoven, and that's like one of my favorite little classic songs. And so I really want to include this in here because my daughter and I, we both play the flute. Well, I don't really play it anymore, but she still does. And so I can just remember playing this myself and hearing her play, and it's just really pretty, and I like coffee, and I really enjoy music and books, and so this is like right up my alley. I went ahead and just did a few pages. This I got at my thrift store, so I don't feel bad about ripping it out. I do like the edges on this, so I'm probably not going to clean cut it, but I do have a problem with words and music not being the right way. Like, that to me is wrong, and that's how you would fold that most likely to put in your journal, but mine aren't going to be that way. I just can't do that, so I don't know how I'm going to incorporate it in there. Maybe just pockets, or you know, we'll figure it out, but I don't like stuff to be the wrong way. I also went ahead and I did a few pages from a little book called The Power of Goals with a bunch of different quotes on there because I love quotes and I wanted to include these. I did copy dye them slightly, and so there's that. I also bought a little digital kit online from Etsy just to get some different stuff to put into my journaling book, and this one here was just one of the more generic pages with just some writing space, and it was on just the regular copy paper. I made 2 pages of those, and the reason why it looks like this on the back is because this one here was one of those cream pages, and I did a double-sided print of a particular pattern on one side and on the other, and I stuck it in the coffee and let it sit, not for too long, but for long enough. I took it out and I let it sit on the table, and I wasn't thinking, but yeah, all of the ink ran. You can't even see the pattern anymore, but I mean, it still turned out really cool. I really like the edge of the pink, and it's like distressed and splotchy, and I'm really happy that I did that, but I lost my beautiful print, so I'll have to reprint that to show you guys. But yeah, so there's those. And then this here, I printed on a copy paper into the printer, and it got stuck. So you can't really, well, if you're going to do that, you're going to need to do it on a page that isn't as crinkled, and the edges have to be able to grab. So it worked, but it didn't work as well as I wanted it to, so I just went ahead and reprinted that page right here just on some cream, just so it wasn't on the stark white, because I know, like I said, I don't want my stuff looking like it's brand new. So there's those. And then here's a page that I did on that, like, yellow, or not yellow, I'm sorry, gray paper that I showed you earlier that I didn't like, and this is from the same collection. And so that's the type of print. It was flowers on that one where it got that pinky side, and then this side here, she has it all like collaged up for you, and then just plain on the back. So I'll have to trim this down, or you know, maybe I'll leave it and then try to cover it up. I don't know quite yet, but I did want to try to get some different images. And this paper here in the background, I really liked it, and I wanted to use it as well, and I actually ripped the corner when I was pulling it out of my book. So I'm kind of bummed, but, you know, it's okay because we're not going to use this whole page. So that's just another example of what we're going to use in our journal. And I went and I got a couple of books here that are decent size because I really want my junk journal to be made with a hardbound book. I don't want it to be with paper. Now, I know there's tons and tons of tutorials out there, and you guys can go watch them on YouTube, but all I did was I took the book, which is, it had the sewn in signatures where it was loose on the back, where it wasn't glued to the spine, because that won't work. And this was the first one that I did, and I just took it, my X-Acto knife, and I just cut down this side, I flipped it over, I cut down the other side, and then popped this right out. So it's all together, so whenever I want to go and use these pages, I don't have to search. They're just right there. And then this will be my book spine. I accidentally went a little bit too deep on the front here, you know, but we're going to be recovering this, so it's not going to matter. And I did a second book just in case I wanted to try my hand at it. Same thing, cut down the front, cut down the back. I left them all together. And I chose this book because it has really neat old black and white photographs in here that we might use of this lady. Like a Time magazine, and the pages, you know, are pretty good on the print, and it's not like a brand new book, so it is a little bit already, you know, aged. It's not white, you can see that. And I really liked this book. It feels like this is fabric, and this is just paper covering. So I have 2 different options for what I want to do. I'm just going to go ahead and reinforce the spine. And then I'm going to decide what I want to put into my journal, and I will come back with my video next week and show you guys how that went. Alrighty, thanks so much for spending time with me. I am so excited for this project. I hope you guys learned something and share all your crafty tips and ideas with me as well as we go on this journey together. Alright, y'all have a great day.